Chapter 16. The Seed in the Eyes. Years had passed since the last blood moon night. The village was soaked in peace. The villagers worked in the fields. Children played in the communal yard. And the elders retold the old tale of a nameless wanderer who had given up his eyes to break the century-old curse. His name was carved into a small stone tablet placed beneath the ancient banyan tree. Every year, people lit incense, prayed, and called him the savior of the village. They believed the darkness had ended, that all vengeful spirits had been put to rest. But no one realized that beneath the soil where his body rotted, the ancient roots still oozed a red fluid like blood. That vein pulsed deep into the earth, feeding a whisper that had never truly gone silent. One full moon night, while the children played in the communal yard, little An, only 10 years old, heard a faint voice calling from the banyan roots. "Do you wish to see what no one else can see?" He looked around, puzzled, but no one else seemed to hear it. The voice did not sound human. It seemed to come from the depths of the soil, from the twisting roots themselves. Clutching his old rag doll tightly, and nodded. At that very moment, a sharp pain pierced his eyes. His pupils contracted into a tiny red dot, glowing faintly like a burning coal. Chapter 17. The Banyan's Whisper. From that night on, An's world changed. When darkness fell, he saw things the others never did. On rooftops crouched twisted shadows with hollow eyes. In narrow alleys, skeletal hands clawed up from the soil. In the cattle sheds, animals bellowed in terror, for they could see what their masters could not, and was terrified and dared not speak of it. But whenever he sat beneath the banyan, the whisper returned, lulling him like a sinister lullaby. "You are the chosen one. Your eyes will open the circle of blood again." Night after night, his dreams grew clearer. He saw himself inside monstrous shrines, a pit of raw flesh, walls built of bones, a river flowing red with blood and black foam. And in those dreams, he always held a blade of bone and blood, while his eyes blazed red in the dark. Chapter 18. The Bleeding Moon Night. On the full moon of the 7th month, the moon shone pale silver at first, but soon, the pallid light cracked, bleeding into a thin streak of red. Drums thundered from the ruined shrine. The villagers panicked, bolting their doors, whispering prayers, trembling with memories of the nightmare long ago. But An heard the call pounding in his head, urgent, insistent. "To the shrine? To the shrine?" His eyes glowed crimson. Through the suffocating fog, he saw the eyeless wraiths crawling from the earth. But instead of devouring him, they bowed low, kneeling like subjects before their master. And An walked, step by step, following the drums, following the voice. Chapter 19. The Resurrected Journal. The ruined shrine stood dark, half collapsed, like a corpse long rotted. Yet upon the soot-blackened altar lay something familiar. The journal. Once, it had burned to ash. But now, the blood-soaked pages trembled, flipping on their own, as though guided by an unseen hand. It crept closer. A line of jagged red writing rose upon the page, as if carved by a blade upon flesh. "The one who bears the new eyes shall walk through the shrines of the curse. Bone, blood, soul. Each shrine shall take a part of the body. Only the one who gives all shall break the cycle." The page dripped blood. A drop fell to the floor, spreading into a dark crimson circle. And gasped, jerking back, but too late. Blood from his fingertips seeped into the page. At once, the entire shrine shuddered. Ashes swirled upward, and across the village, a roar of countless souls erupted, as if awakened at last. Chapter 20. The Road of Blood. A strange road unfurled from the roots of the banyan, not of stone nor soil, but of bone ash, paved in dried blood. The villagers saw nothing, but to An it was clear. Each step he placed upon it hissed, smoke rising, red flames licking along his trail, branding him as the bearer of the curse. Far ahead, a massive gate emerged, not of wood nor stone, but of living flesh, throbbing like a beating heart, every pulse weeping fresh blood. The drums boomed again, pounding into his chest. Flesh, flesh, flesh. And stood trembling, hand gripping the blade now real in his grasp. He knew this path was meant for him. And in that instant, the new cycle of blood began. Chapter 21. The Shrine of Flesh. The fleshly gate pulsed like the lungs of a giant beast. With every breath, blood oozed down in thick streams, pooling dark at An's feet. He tightened his grip on the bone blade, eyes burning red beneath the blood moon. He laid a hand upon the gate. The slimy warmth spread across his skin, his own blood flowing into the flesh. At once, the gate moaned like a dying man and parted, spilling a wave of rancid air into his face. Inside stretched a long corridor, walls of living meat expanding and contracting like a massive throat. Veins bulge, burst, dripping foul ichor, and walked forward, each step sinking into a spongy floor of organs. The whispers rose. Your blood will feed our flesh. Your bones are pillars. Your soul eternal in the shrine. At the corridor's end yawned a pit. The walls of the pit throbbed like a vast heart. Hundreds of slick hands clawed upward, seizing En's legs, yanking him down. He screamed, slashing wildly. Chunks of flesh flew, seared as the red light of his eyes flared. Burnt stench choked the air. But the hands multiplied, coiling his arms, chest, throat. A voice bellowed from the pit's abyss. You belong to us. Blood drenched him, tearing his strength, yet N roared back. If I must give this body, then I will give it to destroy you. At that moment, the blade shuddered, splitting to reveal a red marrow core. It transformed, a weapon of bone and blood, blazing, with all his strength, and drove it into the pit's heart. A thunderous detonation shook the shrine. Blood geysered, shrieks of malformed bodies erupted, then collapsed to ash, and fell to his knees. Torn, bleeding rivers. I am still myself, but this body is no longer whole. The shrine of flesh crumbled to dust. Chapter 22. The Shrine of Bone. Above, the sky split, the blood moon no longer a sphere, but a hollow eye glaring down. A new path of bone ash unfolded, leading to another shrine. The shrine of bone rose from the ground. Walls of skulls, roof of ribs, doors of gnashing teeth, and placed a hand upon the door. The jaws ground open with a crack, exhaling frost that froze his spine. Inside, endless hollow eyes gleamed. The floor was piled bones that snapped underfoot. On the altar crouched a statue of bone. Its chest rose and fell, and in its cavity glowed a single shard, pulsing like a heart. Voices howled from the walls. Give bone, each vertebra, a penance, and lunged. The bone blade slashed, cracking the statue. But from the walls, thousands of skeletal hands thrust out, seizing his limbs, dragging him down. Agony tore through his spine, bones grinding as if breaking apart. He shrieked, eyes flaring, burning the hands to dust, yet more sprouted. Clutching tighter, the statue thundered, give bone, and roared, if you want my bones, then take my soul as well. The blade flared, and he plunged it into the glowing shard within the statue's chest. The shrine exploded in bone dust. The structure collapsed, leaving him gasping, his body trembling, his spine hollowed, weakened, yet alive. Chapter 23. The River of Blood. The bone dust faded, and a new vision stretched ahead, a river of roiling blood. The stench was suffocating, the current frothed black, bodies floating bloated, eyes hollow, mouths forever screaming. The whispers rose. To pass, walk upon our blood, every drop, a sin you must bear. And waded in. Immediately, pale hands clawed from beneath, pulling, gnawing. The corpses tore at his flesh, teeth sinking in, shrieking, you shall pay for our sins. He fought, blade slicing, red-white light carving a path. But from the river's depths, a colossal form surged forth. Its body was blood made flesh, wings shredded, face studded with countless hollow eyes. The great eye above mirrored itself within the creature. It roared, you shall drown in the blood of guilt. N, drenched and broken, screamed back, eyes blazing, then I will cut it all apart, so no drop may demand a life again. He charged, blade blazing bone and blood. Chapter 24. The Embodiment of Blood Guilt. The monster's claws of human bone struck down, churning the river. Corpses wailed, dragging in under, but he surged upward, blade cleaving into its chest. Blood erupted, drowning him. The beast's claws sank into his shoulder. Snapping bone, pain blinded him, yet N poured all his fury. His sight burning white red, blasting through the wound. The hollow eyes across its body burst one by one, spurting black blood. Its scream split the sky. The body twisted, convulsed, then shattered into ash and mist. The river stilled, blood drained away, revealing a bed of white bones, and collapsed, gasping, bleeding into the bone floor. The cursed path stretched once more, leading him to the next shrine. Chapter 25. The Shrine of Souls. This shrine was unlike the others. No flesh, no bone, only a black void that devoured light. When he stepped inside, he had no body, only a transparent soul, his red eyes glowing in the dark. Around him, countless figures emerged, villagers, victims, and the wanderer of old. They cried, "You cannot escape. You are us. Your blood, your soul, will feed us forever." And swung his blade, but it passed through, striking nothing. Then the old wanderer stepped forward, eyeless sockets weeping black tears. His voice rasped, "I fought once, too, but in the end, I was only their eyes. Now it is your turn." And shrieked, "No, I will not be your eyes." His red eyes flared, blazing white. The soul screamed, scattering to ash. The wanderer howled before he too dissolved. The circle never ends. The Shrine of Souls shattered. Chapter 26. The Shrine of Mirrors. The final shrine loomed, doors of broken glass, shards reflecting distorted, monstrous faces. Inside, hundreds of mirrors surrounded him. Each showed not an, but a twisted creature, pale, eyeless, mouths torn wide, blood dripping from empty sockets. The reflections whispered in unison, "This is you. This is what you are." One by one, the images stepped out, clones of his monstrous self, and fought, blade cleaving, light burning them. But for each slain, two more emerged. The floor ran black with their blood. He stumbled, staring at a mirror. His own reflection grinned back, hollow-eyed, blood streaming. The whispers hissed, "Only when you give your eyes shall you be free," and laughed madly, tears of blood streaming. "If these eyes are the curse, then I will give them. But not to you." He raised the blade and drove it into his own eyes. A thunderous explosion, blood spurted, soaking the mirrors. They shattered, the shards dissolving in a storm of white light. Chapter 27. The Bloody Dawn. And knelt, his eyes now empty hollows. Blood pouring down, yet his face was serene. The shrieks ceased, the shrines crumbled to ash, wind sweeping the remains into the sky. The blood moon shrank, leaving only a pale crescent. The distant village lay quiet, unaware that the child had surrendered body and soul to the curse. With his final breath, and whispered, "I have seen the last light." Darkness engulfed him, but beneath the banyan, deep in the roots, blood still pulsed. Dozens of crimson eyes opened within the bark, gazing upon the slumbering village. The curse had never ended. Epilogue. The new eyes of the curse. The village thrived in peace once more. The people believed the darkness gone, the nightmare only a tale. None knew that another child had vanished into the curse. Beneath the banyan, a fresh mound was raised. A stone bore a single name, and each year, incense and prayers honored him as the one who saved them. But when night fell, the banyan's leaves rustled like mournful cries. Deep within the roots, blood flowed still. On another full moon night, as children played in the yard, a little girl stood before N's grave, only 8 years old, hair unkempt, eyes dark. She placed her rag doll at the stone and whispered, "Brother N, can you hear me?" The wind howled, the doll tumbled, its stitched black eyes flickered red. The girl froze, then lifted her gaze. In her sockets, her pupils shrank to a tiny crimson dot, glowing faintly. She smiled sweetly, innocently, as laughter echoed around her. None noticed the red spark in her eyes, the same cursed light that had burned in N's and in the wanderers long ago. The banyan trembled, leaves fell. Within its trunk, countless red eyes opened, watching. The curse had never truly ended. It had only found new eyes to wear.